Recording. Perfect. I have today Captain George Breedy, and he is taking his valuable time to really discuss the National Command Staff College, the programs that he's gone through. And so, Captain, if you would just do me a favor and give me and everyone listening some quick background on your current law enforcement role, where you are, all of that good stuff.
Well, Carrie, first let me tell you that I'm taking this time because I think this is such an important issue. It's such an important matter, and I really, really believe in this program. And that's why I'm taking this time, which is not a challenge to me at all. That said, my name is George Breedy, and I'm a captain with the St. Charles Parish Sheriff's Office in St. Charles Parish, Louisiana. I have been a full-time law enforcement officer for 34 years. I retired just over a year ago, and the sheriff asked me to stay on part-time as his executive assistant, and I have been doing that since August of last year. And so I continue to work with the leadership program as one of my duties, actually.
Wonderful. So you took this course. First of all, actually, can you tell me which session that you are in?
Yes, actually the first session. The first session that was held here in St. Charles Parish, and I was honored to be able to be a part of that session. And I did and went through it, and I didn't have to. I didn't have to go through it, but I really believed in I believe in the program and what I knew of the leadership program from the Institute of Credible Leadership Development and Dr. Mitch Breedy.
Perfect. So that's amazing that you jumped into this course when retirement was already pending for you.
Yes, it was.
I mean, you're semi-retired now.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, you weren't in this course to get another promotion, or you weren't only 12, 15 years into your career. This was really wrapping it up, and you still saw great benefit from it.
Absolutely, and that's why I wanted to be part of it.
Wonderful. Well, I have a couple questions for you, and I would really love for you to let future students know, and their supervisors, really how you would describe the program in general. What was the course load like? Do you have any advice for them? What was your overall experience with the course?
Well, the course is a 6-week program, and 4 of those weeks are online at the student's pace, but there are some deadlines that have to be met. Excuse me, either a 1-week or a 2-week deadline for given material. And then there's a 2-week in-house session where the students, it's a 6-week program.
Yes.
It's 4 weeks of online at the student's pace, although there are deadlines that they have to meet, whether it's 1 week or 2 weeks, and to complete the work. The work is reviewed by staff members, and they get some feedback from those staff members as they're proceeding. After the 4 weeks, there's a 2-week in-house program that's done, and during that 2 weeks at the location, everyone meets together in a classroom-style setting, if you will, and I think, to me, that brought it all together. That was the best part of it. It is absolutely a challenge. This is not a walk in the park, show up, you're getting a certificate kind of class. And if anyone expects that, then I do not recommend you take this. However, if you're coming to learn, if you're coming to better yourself, better your sheriff's office, your police department, or whatever entity it is that you work for, then absolutely this is where you want to be, and you will walk away from here better than when you came here, and you will know that you will have this the self-confidence, not that you necessarily didn't come with it, but you will leave here knowing that you've gained some skills, and you will leave here a better person, I think, and as a result, a better leader.
That's really the greatest thing that we can hear. Of course, I know there's skills and there's technical improvement, and we teach all these great things, but that you leave as a better person, and you're just feeling better as a person, as a leader, really this well-rounded, Magnus entity, and then you get to take it back. So I'm so glad you said that. That's amazing to hear.
And there's a true sense of accomplishment. It really is. It's when you leave here, you have done some considerable amount of work, but it's been worth it.
Perfect. Good. And we're all okay with a challenge as long as we know the results are worth it in the end.
Agreed.
Perfect.
Agreed.
Okay, well, so going from there, we know that, of course, you enjoyed the course. You obviously have some great takeaways. What did it do for you personally as a leader? I mean, you've been in law enforcement for over 30 years. You're at an executive level. I'm sure you have a plethora of leadership-related trainings on your tool belt. So after all of those years of experience, personally, how did you improve after this course?
I approach things as a challenge rather than as a problem. And so there's a challenge to do better. There's a challenge to make it better. And there's a challenge to make it better, not just for me, but for the organization. I understand that there's a mission, that we have a mission, again, as a group, as an entity, as an organization, and we have missions as individuals to fulfill as part of that overall mission. But I am more inclined now to ask, why are we doing this, so that I better understand. And as a result of that, I'm not upset. I don't consider it a challenge when someone legitimately is inquiring for me, why do I want to do it this way, or why am I directing them to do it a certain way, so that they better understand what they're doing, that they have an understanding of what the goal is. And so if they have a better way to do it, they have a suggestion to make it better, then I'm open to that idea. That helps all of us. It helps all of us in the process. So I don't feel it's bad to have to explain, and I don't feel it's bad to ask for an explanation as a leader. And so that's how it's probably helped me the most. I'm a B. I'm a high B, and being a high B has taken me some time. I have to stop and take a breath and understand that maybe I'm just pushing too hard, and I need to let others take the reign.
Well, that's great insight, and I don't think that your specific challenges, being high B, is rare in law enforcement. I think a lot of, right, it's very common personality-wise, and we get a lot of feedback of, it's a rank structure. Why do people ask why? I don't understand. And so having that open-mindedness and really technical understanding of why, it's really increased your leadership skills even after all of these years. So it's fantastic.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt, but yes, we teach that to our people. Listen, you can ask why. There's just two requirements. One, that it be at an appropriate time. We don't want to stop and ask why as we're charging the door, right? Or as we're charging the incident. And we don't, and that it be respectful. And that's it. If you meet those two criteria, you should be able to ask why whenever it's appropriate.
Perfect. And those are very reasonable criteria. So I think everyone can agree with those. Okay, so from there, we know what's done for you personally, how you've implemented in your organization. Programs like this, there's a lot of training out there. We're obviously not the only training institution for law enforcement. What does it do for modern day law enforcement? Again, you've been in law enforcement for over 30 years. How has leadership trained, and what has this program done that really directly affects where law enforcement is going today?
Well, for us, we have found it most effective in that we use a similar program for all of our personnel that was developed by the Institute of Credible Leadership and Development and Dr. Mr. Breedy. And we've used that, or we implemented that about 2013, I think is when we started, end of 2013. And in that time frame, we have, of course, continued to track our stats and track our crime rate. And we have found that consistently there has been a steady decline in the number of internal affairs complaints against our personnel. We have also found that in that time frame, we have not had any judgments against us. or any settlements regarding excessive use of force or violating anyone's civil rights in that time frame. And probably the biggest thing, although not to say that those things aren't very big, but one of the things that everyone I think can relate to, whether they're in law enforcement or not, is that our crime stats have steadily gone down to an all-time low. In over 22 years, this is the lowest crime stats we've had this last year, 2018. They just came in, and they're the lowest crime stats ever.
That's amazing.
I don't think that's just a coincidence. I really don't. And neither does our administration. Neither our sheriff and the other members of our administration do not believe it's just a coincidence. Our people have bought into this.
So, right, your people have bought into it. Of course, you and others were involved in the program. Now you have a couple years of experimenting and really implementing and growing, okay, with this with incredible leadership training. And so not only are you seeing an improvement in the actual culture and in your organization, how your deputies are acting on the street, your internal affairs complaints are going down, but the actual crime rate. So a direct correlation to the effectiveness on the community.
Yes.
And you're seeing positive results there.
Yes, and you used the right word. That's a great word. The culture of law enforcement, the culture of our organization has changed, and the face of our organization has changed over the last few years. There has been a change in personnel. There's been a change in attitude. There's been a change in how we approach things, and it's from the bottom up and from the top down. It has been that process, which continues. It's not done.
Right. Always a process, always moving forward. But there's definitely multiple benefits, not just the student attending our course, gets benefit. You're spreading it throughout your agency. It's going into the community. You're getting this multifaceted result from the program here.
Absolutely. And to that end, the sheriff plans on sending 5 additional people to the next course that's being held here in St. Charles Parish.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate your time and your input, and of course, keep sending more. The more you can get under the training, the more we would love to serve you. And that's all I have for you today, George, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
My pleasure. Anytime. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you so much.